The number one reason why you are not climbing in Pokemon Unite is because you are simply thinking you are way better than everybody else at using a carry character. The truth is that you are not as good as you think you are, especially with using a character that is a carry. The number one thing you can do to climb more in Pokemon Unite is to pick a supporter. Yes, there are going to be games where you play the support or the tank role and your teammates let you down a lot. However, there's going to be a lot more games where if you play the supporter, then your teammate who picks the carry is going to be a good player. And this happens a lot more than you think. And you're going to realize this when you play support. If you are supporting your teammate who is pretty good at the game, they are going to be amplified. Their skill is going to be really, really good in comparison to you picking the carry character and your teammate picking the carry character and neither of you supporting anyone. This gameplay is going to highlight exactly that. Now, the reason why I'm not using the original video footage here with the audio is because it went all crackly and it went all weird and it's really cringy to listen to. So unfortunately, I'm going to do this voiceover here because the live in-game voice from the Twitch game was honestly, it was hype. I'm playing with some really good players here. One of them's playing Mewtwo X, the other one's playing Cinderace, and my gosh, it was an absolute treat to play with these guys. So let's talk through what you can do. I have picked Hoopa. The reason I picked Hoopa is because I see there's a Slowbro and there's a Mewtwo X. That's two characters who want to get in the face of the enemy. That means there's two characters who are melee. You want to be picking a supporter that has some range and will help get their health bars reset quite a lot. That is a very, very good way that you can support. Now, what I do when I'm using Hoopa is I like to put the portals into the bush because that's where the enemy team can't see it, but your team can. Another thing that I would like to do is make sure that I'm not dying. You'll notice in this game that I am making sure I've got my rotations on point. I'm with my team, but ultimately I am not dying here, right? I see I'm getting dove on by the Absol. My whole team's there. That is just pure luck. I probably should have died there, but I get the quick reset and no one else is able to jump in and quickly kill me because that portal is there ready to go. You can see all of my portal placements are always going to be in the bush. This again ensures that the enemy are not seeing them. So when you're using Hoopa, you can portal between the top and the bottom lane. There's always going to be that frustration of, oh, my teammates never use the portal. And you can see here, the Slowbro is like pretty keen, to get kills, and he would be benefiting quite a lot if he was taking those resets in the portals, right? Like especially this one here. But maybe that would have put him in a compromising position, so maybe he picked the right play there. Now, one thing that you want to make sure that you're doing when you're using Hoopa is you can see I'm looking to bring the Mewtwo wide down with me, but he decides to run down to the lane manually. I could have transported him down through the highway. That's what I call the highway, is when you put the portal to go from top to bottom lane. However, he's decided to run, so that means you can use these portals to get your reset. Your other skill is Phantom Force, right? Phantom Force will shove your enemies away. So one thing that you can do to really support your team, and you're going to see me do this quite a bit here, and I'm going to replay that with the Cinderace, is that I put my portal down and then I use my Phantom Force to shove the teammate away from my Cinderace such that he can hop into the portal safely. Now, there is absolutely no denying that that high level skill of support is the reason why my teammate is able to carry harder than he's probably capable of doing. If there was no good supporter helping him stay alive, he would have died and he would not be, leveling up, getting his rotations, getting those kill experience. The enemy would be getting that experience back. This is a huge game changer that you can do to climb. You've just got to swallow your pride a little bit. Understand that even if that teammate is 60% as good as playing the carry character as you, if you're able to support them well, then you are going to win more games of Pokemon Unite, and that is an absolute fact. This is why our supporters have got the highest win rates across the meta of Pokemon Unite. You can see a lot of the time I'm looking at the health bar of my teammates and seeing what I can do, right? Whether it's putting the portal down, whether it's shoving the enemies away, okay? That is what I'm trying to do here. Now, the Unite move with Hoopa is a little weird. Generally, what you want to do is you want to put that Unite move down for the second bottom objective, but here, since we're in such a great position, what I'm going to be able to do is I can use my portal now because they don't have their jump pad. So what we're able to do is we're able to kill them. I eject to reposition because I want to be using my skills on their base, and we are forcing this Regieleki into that second tier because we want to keep that score pressure on. You want to get as much score as you possibly can in the first 5 minutes of the game, because it's a lot harder to score on their second tier when they have that jump pad. So just keep that in mind. You want to get as much score as possible in the first 5 minutes of the game. So that's why I've popped that Unite move there. Was it the best use of the Unite move? Honestly, it was a little risky. However, I think it definitely pays off. Now you can see a lot of the time I'm just looking where my team is. Where can I give them portals, right? What am I able to do? And one thing that's really important with Hoopa is that you want to try and preserve both of your goal zones, because you can get from top objective to bottom objective really quick rather than portaling to the second tier rather than the first tier. It helps your team maintain their lead, right? You can see I could have been there deep pressing the objective, but I'm looking to help my Cinderace. I want to keep my carry units alive. I want to do what I can do to keep the team alive. So this is absolutely, we may sound like a bit of a broken record here, but this is the number one thing you can do to climb in Pokemon Unite, right? It's the number one thing. Guys, pick your support and help your team carry. Again, even if they are 50% as good as you, 50% as good at playing that carry character than you, it's better that you support them and help them do the best that they can possibly do, rather than both of you playing the carry, neither of you able to support either one of you needing to get extra experience over the other one, right? It's just, honestly, in my opinion, that's where you're going to struggle. Now you can see my team has gone to the top lane and they are looking to rip that Reggie that walks into base. The value I can see is making sure that we can get some score bottom lane here, right? Because they've got to defend their pad. They can't let that Regieleki walk in. Now you can see the value of putting those portals into the bush, right? The enemy team didn't know I was going to get away until they walked into that bush. So all I'm doing here is I'm scouting, I'm trying to stay alive. You can see this entire game I have not died once. All I'm looking to do is support the team and make sure that I am staying alive, right? You should be the first person to die on your team. And the reason for that is that you are going to give the enemy the least amount of experience, because you should be the lowest level. And this is why you should be running an experience share on those supporters, right? Because you're not there to farm. You're there to get that passive experience, funnel all the experience into your carry and help them do the best that they can possibly do, right? Now, 30 seconds before this Rayquaza fight, we've got such a huge lead. Honestly, all we need to do is just stall out. We force the enemy to engage in the Rayquaza fight, and one thing I'm doing here is I'm just lowering this blue buff for one of my teammates to get, right? I don't need to get any experience from that. I'm already level 12, and you can notice that we've got our first tiers in the top and the bottom lane. So as the Hoopa player, I'm making sure that I'm in a position where I can put that hyper portal onto the goal to make sure I can go to the top lane or the bottom lane if the enemy try and backcap. So we've got that defense is ready to go there, and I also want to lurk in this bottom area here, because I want to use these portals kind of in this open space so my team can get the resets, right? I want to make sure that my team stays alive. Now, honestly, probably a little bit late on that portal there with the Slowbro, but they threw a lot of resource at that Slowbro, right? They threw a lot. And so in doing that, our team was able to clean up. I've taken the Sableye away with me. It's really important that I don't die as the Hoopa player, right? So I've got to stay alive, and if I drag one out with me while our tank consumes that much resource, we're in such a good position. And honestly, this Ray fight just felt like it was really good for us, because we had a Cinderace who was well fed, level 15 or 14, whatever he was, by that Rayquaza fight. We had a Gardevoir that was leveled up. We had a Mewtwo X that was leveled up. We're just in a phenomenal spot to close out the game. So I'm going to say it one time and one last time here. If you want to climb more in Pokemon Unite, you must be using these supporters. You're there to get assists, you're there to clean up a couple KOs, but most importantly, you're making sure that your carry characters on your team are not handing back experience to the enemy team. I hope you found this video useful. There's another guide on the screen right here. You can see it in the middle of the screen. If you got some value out of this one, click on that one. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value there, and you should be getting those healing and damage taken numbers to help support your team win games.